Hey guys, give me just a minute here tonight. Got a little, you know, the usual. You have people who like to think that nothing applies to them. So I've got to take care of canceling an order here real quickly. And that also means that there may be a spot open tonight potentially if someone wants to pick it up. But if you bear with me a moment, let me get this taken care of real quickly here, and then we'll be ready to move onward. We got a couple of things opening up tonight. It's going to be some Leaf Metal Draft football, and what else have we got? Diamond Kings baseball is the other thing. Diamond Kings, all right. So just give me 1 second, guys, to get this squared away here. Well, now the person doesn't want their order canceled. Okay, well, there you go. Go figure. People sometimes have their own way of doing things, don't they? All right. We are ready to go then. Not off to a smooth start, but hopefully the rest of the night's going to be smooth sailing. So, Leaf Metal Draft Football. I'm going to put up a spreadsheet for it here in a moment, but before we do that, there was a question raised in messages, so I want to address that very quickly. We've talked about this in some of the other breaks that we've done for 2019 Leaf Football, but we're going to just lay it out up front again tonight. There are hyphenated names in here, okay? So there are names like Arcega Whiteside, and that is the last name. Whiteside is not his last name. His last name is literally Arcega-Whiteside, but that's all one word, or all one last name. It's not all one word. It's a word and a hyphen and a word. But anyway, you know what I mean. Arcega Whiteside is his last name. So even though it is hyphenated, obviously the A for Arcega is the first letter of the last name. So that's how that would go. So if we pull that, it goes to the A. I think Yasin was another one that is a potential hyphenated name. So once again, if we pull that, it goes to the Y. There's not a ton of hyphenated names in there, but there are a few, and that's the way they're going to go. Now, I think everybody probably does already realize that these are first letter of the last name kind of spots. So I think hopefully we're all good in that regard, and you kind of know what to expect. So meanwhile, let's go over our info real quickly here. Feedback, guys, 100% automated. Anytime you leave feedback for me, positive feedback for me, you're going to instantly get positive feedback in return so that you don't ever have to wait on me. And then once again, of course, thanks everyone for being here, bidding, breaking, chatting, hanging out with me. Appreciate you guys and gals. We are looking right now at breaks that are listed on eBay. This is the stuff that we're going to be doing here over the next few days. So tomorrow we're going to do an 8-box half case of Inception Baseball. That is 8 loose boxes of Inception Baseball because that's how I found them. I don't know. I must have gotten a half case somewhere in an allocation. I found it the other day. We're going to break it tomorrow night. Likewise, Revolution Basketball Chinese New Year Edition. 2 cases of that. Those are 8-box cases. They are a different configuration than regular Revolution basketball. So if you're not familiar with how the Chinese New Year edition works, please make sure you read the listing description so that you understand what you're getting into when you get into that break. Monday night, we'll open another 12-box case of Diamond Kings baseball. On Tuesday night, we'll open Leaf Metal Draft again. On Wednesday, we're going to start early, 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific. We'll open a 3-box case or inner case of Onyx Preferred Players Autograph Baseballs, and it's Bowman Baseball Release Day. That should almost be like a national holiday, right? Like, I love it. So we're going to do a half case of that on Release Day as well. On Thursday, we're going to break another full case of Honors Football, and we're going to get into some Panini Prism Fast Break Basketball. That is a 10-box half case. And those are loose boxes from a shared case. So in other words, I took half the case, somebody else took half the case. So that's how that's going to roll on Thursday night. For tonight, here is what you need to know. We have got no free shipping breaks tonight. Both of our breaks are paid shipping breaks. Leaf Metal Draft and Diamond Kings, both I'm anticipating to be on the way to you approximately Wednesday, the 17th. Now, if you get skunked in either one of those, I mean, I don't think it's super likely in Diamond Kings. It's possible in theory, but not likely. In Leaf Metal Draft, it's also possible that you could end up not pulling anything, not pulling a single card, not one thing. If that happens, you are still going to get a package. You're going to get consolation cards in the mail. And all of that information, of course, can be found expounded upon in the listing description. I know some of you are like, we don't like consolation cards. But you know what? Some people have had good luck with them and ended up getting hits and other things. So, there's a reason they go out. And hopefully if you don't have luck in the break, you have a little better luck there. So first up tonight is our 15-box case break of 2019 Leaf Metal Draft Football. It is a full case break. It's break number 2. This product just came out yesterday. And once again, we're opening everything tonight that ended tonight on eBay, Saturday night, the 13th of April. You have first letter of the last name is how our spots go, as we were talking about a minute ago. And please remember, on a hyphenated name, it is literally the first letter of the last name. So Arcega Whiteside, his last name isn't Whiteside, it's Arcega Whiteside. So it goes to the A, and so on and so forth. So a few of our letters are doubled up, P, Q, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. You can see that on there. Everything else pretty much the way you would expect it to be. And of course, a new spreadsheet will go up before we start Diamond Kings, and that break will be right after we finish this Leaf Metal Draft. The last little piece of business there is watching the background. It went out of focus a little bit, and I know that it did. But hey, don't sweat it. We actually do that for a good reason. That is so we can see things up even closer than normal. So who have we got hanging out with us tonight? Jay Allen is here and Kirk is here. Jay Allen, you want to find a cut signature tonight. You're obviously in Diamond Kings then. We don't have cut signatures in Leaf Metal Draft, so talking a little DK there. All right. I would like to find a cut signature tonight too. That would make me equally happy, so we'll try to make that happen. Echo's back. Echo said he tried to stop doing breaks, but it's too hard. They're addictive, aren't they? I know. It's, it is, especially when you win. It's just, I really shouldn't call it winning, but let's say when you get what you want, because there's lots of times in breaks when I buy into somebody else's breaks, maybe I hit stuff, but it's not really exactly what I was after. Like, it's fun, but it's like, but when you hit exactly what you're after, oh, it's great, isn't it? So much fun. Jay Allen, yeah, of course, Chinese New Year, again, as I mentioned, is a completely different product than regular Revolution. The thing that you're after in Chinese New Year Revolution are those specific Chinese New Year inserts. That was originally an international product, and they brought it over, it releases still in the international market first. And then I guess last year definitely, and this year, I don't think the year before, I think only the last 2 years, at some point after it was released internationally, they decided to bring some over that you can get domestically, but it is a different configuration. I mean, it's different. You don't get the same. I mean, the cards look a lot the same, but that particular parallel only comes in Chinese New Year Revolution. You're never guaranteed autographs in Revolution, period, but you do tend to find a certain amount in the U.S. version. You don't necessarily find that many, sometimes none in the international version, just depends. But yeah, it is a completely, totally different animal, the Chinese New Year version. Echo says his wife's going to stay unhappy with him because you're doing breaks. Listen, do you sell any of the stuff, Echo? Because if you do, the next time you sell something and you make a little money from something that you got in a break, just allocate some of those funds towards buying something nice for the wife and make sure she knows that she got it because of something you hit in a break, right? That will go a long way towards making her feel happier about you doing breaks. At least it would in my house, you know, if I, you know, if I were faced with like, oh, I'm mad that you're spending money on this, and then, you know, I all of a sudden got, I can't even think, a new iPad or something. Oh yeah, honey, you get this because I sold these cards I hit in the break. Really? Okay, awesome. Suddenly I like you doing whatever it was. See, in my house, nobody's ever gonna get in trouble for doing breaks, of course. So I couldn't use breaks as an example, but you get the picture. We could say playing the stock market, perhaps, you know, that sort of, that might be an adequate comparison. J. Allen, yeah, J. Allen, you know, there are, of course, always in that stuff I send out, there's always the possibility of getting hits. You just, like anything else, you never know which things have the hits and which things don't, but I do know plenty of you guys have gotten hits out of consolation stuff that goes out, because I've had, well, A, I've had some people tell me what they hit, and B, I mean, I know the hits are in there, so somebody's getting them. So hopefully the luck of the draw will flow your way, sir, if you you know, don't get what you're looking for. Okay, we are all set to go here now with Leaf Metal Draft. You guys probably all know how this works. We have everything is all ready to go in here. They're very handy about that. It's already in its sleeve, its top loader, and it's just kind of ready to rock. And we have first out is David Sills, and that is numbered to 35 for the S. There is Ed Oliver for the O. Then we have Devin White for the W's. Justice Hill for the H. My man Benny Snell Jr. for the S, numbered to 20. Telling you, he's gonna be a useful little power back. He's not gonna be an every down back or anything like that, but he's gonna be a useful power running back for somebody's program, I think. We have Rodney Anderson to 5 for the A's. Behind that is Kelvin Harmon for the H. There's Daryl Henderson also for the H. It was numbered to 15. You have Bryce Love for the L and Daniel Jones for the J. Victor's here. You are looking for names that start with A. All right, let's work on that for you then, Victor, too. Echo, you got a 1 of 10 Bowman's Best Rosario. Oh, nice. And if it grades high, it'll be priced at $5.50 or more. Yeah, that's the kind of hit I'm talking about. If you sell it, go, you know, buy the wife something, she'll be happy, and then she won't complain about if you're doing as many breaks, probably. That was Debo Samuel to 35 on a State Pride insert. It was for the S. Miles Sanders right behind is also for the S. Justice Hill, numbered to 10, is for the H. My man Josh Allen, should be somewhere in the top 3 or 4 draft picks, heads to the letter A. DK Metcalf heads to the M. And DK is, you know, of course, did a lot to improve his draft stock at the Combine, so that might turn out to be a useful hit along the way. Brett Ripon is an R. There's LJ Scott for the S. It's numbered to 10. And behind that is Trey Lamar for the L. Demarius Lodge also for the L. And Drew Lock. We just kind of did a run of L's there. And the Drew Lock is to 20. So that's a nice one if you have L. Although, honestly, you had, you know, a bunch of L's right there in a row, not just the Drew Lock. So you did pretty well in general out of that box with L. Humphrey to the H, numbered to 35, DeAndre Baker for the B's. And Greedy Williams for the W. There's Devin White, also the W on a State Pride insert. And Devin Singletary for the S's, numbered to 35. Oh, that's Mark Ripon's nephew. All right, I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. Jarrett Stidham, S. Draymond Jones to 20 for the J. Then we have Dexter Lawrence, the L. Alex Barnes, the B. Paris Campbell to 35 for the C. Elijah Holyfield for the H. Irv Smith for the S. Seems like the S's have had a lot already, doesn't it? Stanley Morgan for the M's. Christian Wilkins out for the W's. That's numbered to 20. Daniel Jones out again. Mike Weber for the W to 15. And there is Williams, Eris Williams for the W's. Damian Harris from Alabama, Crimson Tide for the H. And this is Humphrey. We had one of these last night too, and it's super weird because we have Humphrey Live in here, and then we have Humphrey Redemptions. It kind of makes no sense, but anyway, that goes to the H. Dwayne Haskins right behind it, also headed to the H bidding position, making somebody happy. This one is Tyree Brady, B. Trayvon Williams for the W. Emmanuel Hall for the H to 25. Montez Sweat for the S. And there's your Kyler Murray coming out for the M bidding position. All right, here is Devin Bush for the B's. Hakeem Butler also for the B's. That's numbered to 25. There's Jeffrey Simons for the S. Or Simmons, rather. I'm used to saying Simons. We've had Anthony Simons for the Trailblazers in basketball. That was actually Simmons. Sorry. Habits. Deebo Samuel for the S. This is a little State Pride for Drew Lock. Nice little parallel headed to the L's. Oh, Jay Allen, you said a truck went by? I didn't even notice, honestly. Yeah, Jay Allen sometimes picks up the ambient noise if we've got, when he's wearing headphones. That was Kelvin Harmon for the H. Clellan Farrell to 5 for the F bidding position. Jalen Jelks to 15 for the J's. Bryce Love for the L's. That is Kyler Murray again, a State Pride Kyler Murray. It's not trying to kind of move around in there. I think it's settled back down a little bit. So a pair of Kyler Murrays so far, not too shabby. Miles Gaskin to 5 for the G. Antoine Wesley for the W's. There's another Benny Snell Jr. for the S. His signature's weird though, right? I mean, like, why is the junior way over there? Here's the Benny Snell part, and then why do you leave that giant gap before you put the junior? It's odd, isn't it? A little bit. David Montgomery to 10 for the M's. Marquise Brown, redemption for the B's. Jeremy Tillery for T. Anthony Ratliff Williams. This is an example of one of those hyphenated names I was talking about earlier. So the last name is Ratliff Williams. So obviously first letter of that is R. Mac Wilson to 7 for the W's. Clayton Thorsten for the T's. Jarrett Stidham to 35 for the S. Jace Sternberger to 25 for the S. Ryan Findlay for the F's. F like Frank. Riley Ridley, Calvin's little brother, for the R. And there's Christian Wilkins for the W. Another Damian Harris. That one's on a parallel and numbered to 20 for the H. Yeah, you definitely hear my cats fighting each other quite frequently. I know you picked that up on the headphones. Yeah, hopefully you don't ever hear the television, because usually they're not any on near me. And they shouldn't be any close enough to me on that would ever have any weird television noise in the background, I would hope. Caleb Wilson to 20, W. Noah Fant for the F bidding position. Nikhil Harry for the H bidding position. Greedy Williams for the W's. And then A.J. Brown for the B's to 20. So that is where we are. That is the break for tonight on Leaf Metal Draft. We are going to recap it, but kids, I'm not going to read out all of the names and numbers and do front and back and all that again, because you know what? That would be pretty much just like doing the full break over again, since everything in here is a hit. But what we will do is a quick little flip through here in the way of a recap for anybody who might have jumped in late or perhaps didn't catch something earlier. And once again, please remember on the hyphenated names, we didn't find many of them tonight, maybe just the one, but the hyphenated names like that, his name is Ratliff Williams. That is both together comprise the last name, so it goes to the R bidding position, not to the W, to the R. All right. We have got, of course, more Leaf Metal Draft that will be breaking next week. We'll get into it again. We're not doing any more this weekend, but we will do more next week. And there's still more that I don't have scheduled even yet that will get up and running before too awfully long. You guys know I like my Leaf products, so we usually break a handful of cases of Leaf stuff, anywhere from 3 to 7 or 8, depending on any given day on the product, what it is. But we always have a pretty good amount of Leaf stuff that we dig into, of the main stuff. Now the multi-sport things, you know, those Leaf Metal Sports Heroes and Best of Sports and all that, we tend to have not quite as much of that as we do straight up football and baseball releases, but still we'll get a decent amount of it anyway. Keith is asking about the Fs. Yes, we did have some Fs. Hopefully you just saw that recap and caught it in there, but we did have some F hits in here tonight, for sure we did. All right, let's take a look at our next break. Let's get our spreadsheet info up here. So once again, your 411 is this. We don't have any free shipping breaks tonight. Everything's a paid break, and anticipating it's going to get out the door and on the way to you approximately Wednesday. As always, if I can get something out faster, I will. If something goes off the rails, it might slide a day later. Breaks do ship in the order that they break, right? So like whatever we broke last night is going to ship the day ahead of what we break tonight, etc. So That way everything kind of stays on a schedule. Once again, if your team is not pulled and you did not hit anything at all, either in the break that we just finished or in the break that we are about to embark upon, you are still going to get a package in the mail. It will have consolation card or cards in it. And you know what? Sometimes you get hits out of that. So you are still going to get something, and it will ship with the rest of the break, regardless of whether or not you actually pulled anything. Although hopefully nobody gets skunked, but it does happen. All right, we are headed into a 12-box case break of 2019 Diamond Kings Baseball, and this is a full inner case. It is break number 2, and same format that you are familiar with already, where we have our team names on the left-hand side. Your name is up in lights across from your team there on the right-hand side, if you are fortunate enough to be part of Diamond Kings tonight. Keith, you're asking about the break upload. Well, there's a couple of things about that, Keith. One is that YouTube archives the break. So the YouTube archived version usually, I think, shows up probably, I don't know, within an hour, hour and a half or something after the break ends. They do whatever processing is. I mean, I don't know what processing entails, but that's what it always says. And whenever they get done with their quote-unquote processing, the YouTube archived version will be available to view. Then sometime within the next 24 hours, I will upload the recorded version. And it's the same content. The only difference in the archived version and what I upload is that I will add the proper tags and titles just to make it easier for search, or if you're trying to reference something, you know, down the road. It's certainly much easier to find it that way. So that's how that works. I mean, I think the listing description says it'll be uploaded within 24 hours, but most of the time I get it uploaded within a few hours. Sometimes it's the next day, but most of the time it's a few hours after the break ends. But at the least, the archived version, of course, would be available. Jay Allen, you are looking for Phillies and Rays. And Echo says he wants some Mets tonight. He's got to have some Mets fire, specifically. Not just Mets, but Mets fire. All right. Some Mets and Phillies and Rays. And we had a cut signature mojo request. And I don't know what else. Jay Allen, you said the archived version that YouTube puts up doesn't take too long. I don't know. I've had to, you know, different people tell me different things. So that's why I'm not sure exactly when that pops up. I usually just say within a couple of hours, and I think that probably covers it. I've had some people tell me it will show up as quick as like 20 or 30 minutes, and I've had some people tell me they don't see it for an hour or two. My assumption is that it probably has a lot to do with how long the break is, how long the video is. Would probably impact that, I would guess. Now, if you haven't done a Diamond Kings break before, there are a few things to know about it. First of all, we've got 2 hits in here, and they can be autographs, they can be memorabilia, or they can be some combination of the two, as in an autographed memorabilia card. But basically 2 hits per box. And there will be some parallels in here. Some will be numbered, some won't. We'll kind of go through those with a little slower in the first box so you get an idea of kind of what's numbered and what isn't. And then we go a little faster through subsequent boxes once we've established that. What else? There are some old-timers in here, and by old-timers, I mean like guys from like the early 1900s. There may even be guys in here older than that. I don't know, but there are definitely guys in here from the early 1900s. And so sometimes we have franchise things that come into play because cards always stay with their franchises. So, for instance, we've got some old-timers in here that played for the New York Giants. This is for the Pirates, Kevin Newman, a framed card. And of course, the New York Giants are completely different than the New York Mets and the New York Yankees. So heirs to the throne, we've got two different teams on these. Well, this particular one does, but they don't all. But this one does. We've got the Blue Jays on the front. Montreal Expos of the old days are the current Washington Nationals franchise. So all those heirs to the throne, we just set them all up there. Whether they have the same team or different teams or whatever, they're all going to set up there because that makes it easier to get them all awarded at the end of the break. But so the New York Giants of old days, like 1900s kind of New York Giants, are the current San Francisco Giants. So when we pull old-timers from the New York Giants, that's where they go, San Francisco Giants. This is numbered to 25. It's the Toronto Blue Jays with Reese McGuire. You have a couple of nice multicolor relics as well as your signature attached. A portraits for Jose Ramirez. The vast majority of those are not numbered. If I see one that I think might possibly be numbered, I will flag it, of course, and we'll stop and take a better look at it. And I don't know why Mookie Betts is turned around backwards, but he was. Heirs to the throne. So that's the main. Oh, this is another one, though. Of course, the St. Louis. This is not the St. Louis Cardinals. Satchel Paige played for the St. Louis Browns, okay? And the St. Louis Browns from many days ago are the current Baltimore Orioles. So Satchel Paige goes to the Orioles. This Christy Mathewson, this guy, he is a New York Giant. So that means he goes San Francisco Giants. He's not a Met. The Met was a way later franchise. So if you have any questions about any of that stuff, feel free to hit me up as we go along. Jonathan Davis, Toronto Blue Jays. I just like to kind of lay it out so everybody, when we're going through, they know what's what and what you're looking for and how it works. This is a rare set that has all that. Cleveland Indians, Jose Ramirez. It's one of those that keeps you on your toes in terms of having to know franchise history when you break Diamond Kings. Donovan is here. Hi, Donovan. He is wishing Kirk some good luck. And Kirk says he needs some Yankees, Red Sox, Twins, and Angels. Okay. We will see if we can get some mojo flowing for your teams as well, sir. Rhys Hoskins and the Philadelphia Phillies. Jay Ellen's got the touch when it comes to Rhys Hoskins. That is a Jersey Kings hit. Whenever Jay Allen has the Phillies, he seems to hit Rhys Hoskins in particular. It works out pretty well, though, right? I mean, you should have a pretty good little set of Rhys Hoskins autographs and relics by now. And he's having a good year so far also. He's really been kind of knocking the cover off the ball, which is nice. Crowning moment. There's not a ton of these inserts in here. They're not numbered, but there's not like loads of them. There's a handful of them. The same thing here with the 300. There's not loads of those either, but we find a handful of them as we go along. There's more of these. Gallery of Stars. That's Juan Soto for the Nationals. We tend to, I think, find a bit more of those than maybe the other inserts that we saw before that. Oh, you're keeping all the Hoskins. That's for your personal collection. I didn't know that. See, I thought you were probably flipping all the Hoskins, but you're keeping it. All right. Well, then, yeah, pretty soon you're going to have to build a wing on the house, man, to keep all the Rhys Hoskins cards. That's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, I haven't really collected a lot personally for baseball in the last season or two because, honestly, I mean, not out of regular baseball. Out of Bowman, that's another matter. But out of straight up active player type products, because my Reds have been just dreadful. We don't get a lot of hits and things, you know. I mean, we do in some products, but now Bowman, there's some good stuff in Bowman for the Reds. And hopefully in the next few seasons, we'll get the on-field product in a little better shape, and then they'll probably let some of my Reds back in the products. I mean, they're always in there as base cards, you know, and there are the random hits for the Reds, too. I shouldn't say we don't have any hits. We do, but it just doesn't seem like we have as many as when we play a little better, that's all. Satchel Paige, once again, former St. Louis, that is St. Louis Browns, not the St. Louis Cardinals. And, of course, the St. Louis Browns are the Orioles of today. So Satchel Paige headed to the Orioles on the St. Louis Browns hit. Harmon Killebrew, speaking of throwing back. There's your cut signature, Jay Allen. You called it, didn't you? I mean, it's not for you, but you called a cut signature tonight. But I don't think you have Minnesota, unfortunately. But that's a nice little hit for the Minnesota Twins. You've got a piece of the baseball bat, and then, of course, the cut signature autograph. Really nice hit if you happen to have the Minnesota Twins tonight. So congrats on that. Yeah, see, Echo had already spotted it. He's like, I see a thick card over there. I see a thick card. Yeah, you were right. There was one. Dontrell Willis for the Marlins, crowning moments insert. It's always nice to see those come out. Ken Griffey Jr. for the Mariners. And Joe Wood for Boston. There's an heirs to the throne. Once again, all those heirs to the throne are sitting up there. Some of them, like the one we just saw, actually has the same team on the front of the card and the back of the card, but others don't. So I'm going to keep them all sorted separately so that we can get them checked out a little bit better. You know, that Greg Maddux, did we look at that? Yeah, so he's a Brave on there. Because I think there's a Greg Maddux where he's not a Brave on some of these cards. Panini will do that to you sometimes. Same player might be in the same set on different teams depending on the card set. I see a Ryan Barucki for the Toronto Blue Jays. So Blue Jays, this is your second hit already, and we're just getting rolling tonight. You got another hit already. Toronto is doing okay at the moment. A Bryce Harper framed, still a national on that one. Ohtani and the Angels on the front. Ichiro and the Mariners on the back. A Rizzo. A Gallery of Stars, Aaron Nola for the Phillies. Yeah, Jay Ellen, tell me again who your other team is. The Phillies is one of them. Who was your other team again? I was so focused on the Phillies for you, I forget who else you mentioned that you have in here tonight besides the Phillies. The Rays. Okay, thank you. The Rays. All right. Can't Let's see what we can come up with there for Tampa Bay. Yeah, Willie Adames has been playing well for your Tampa Bay Rays. This is Vlad Guerrero Sr. And, of course, again, Montreal Expos of days gone by are the current Washington Nationals. So, Expos cards head to the Nationals. Sean Reed Foley, another hit for the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto is cleaning up right now. Toronto's taking over the world. Of course, I'm sure if you have the Blue Jays, you're really after Guerrero. Oops, sorry about that. We got lots of Diamond Kings we'll be opening too. We'll probably be opening this for a couple weeks off and on. And there's still Gypsy Queen down there that I may mix back in at some point. I think we've still got a little Heritage hanging around. So there'll be various baseball things that we'll mix in and out along the way over the months ahead. So there's a question in chat from Nelson. Apparently he must have the volume down because he's at work, because he says he needs to get the answer in chat. He wants to know when the break's going to be uploaded. Jose Ramirez, Diamond Deco. Got a couple of pieces of bat, a couple of pieces of jersey on there. Well, Echo answered that, but Echo, qualify that, please. Let him know that that's the, because Echo typed in within 2 hours. Just let him know that that's when the YouTube archived version will be there. I'm not guaranteeing that I'll have my upload done within 2 hours. That's A-Rod as a Ranger. Gallery of Stars, Benintendi. I mean, I might, but I'm not absolutely guaranteeing that. There's an artist proof Larry Doby for the Cleveland Indians. Those artist proofs are not numbered, but just have the stamp on the front there, as you saw, that say artist proof. And Echo, thank you for answering that, by the way, too, for Nelson. I appreciate that very much. Taylor Ward and the Angels. Yeah, Jay Allen, I'm with you. I enjoy Diamond Kings partially because of the old school players in here. I think it's kind of fun to have them mixed in. Bryce Harper and the Nationals. There's a Shohei Gallery of Stars. Because you don't really have other products that have some of those. I mean, that don't. A lot of these guys. I mean, you're not going to find too many products that have Shoeless Joe Jackson in them other than Diamond Kings. There's Mickey Cochran for Philadelphia. Aaron Judge on the front, Babe Ruth on the back, heirs to the throne. Valdez for the Astros. Little Ricky Henderson for the A's. And a portrait. Ah, that's okay, Echo. It's all good, man. It's all good. One or the other should be there within the 2 hours, so hopefully he will, he'll see one or the other of them anyway. And sometimes I do get mine finished in that amount of time as well, but sometimes I don't. And sometimes mine's the next day. But lately I've just been staying up most nights until I get it done and I know that it's all finished. Because I don't like to walk off and leave it uploading. Because the few times I've done that in the past, it's come back to bite me in the rear. Because because I'll come back and look at it hours later, and I'll think it's done, and something will have happened, you know, and you'll get that little message it gives you, like some kind of something YouTube back end error, whatever that is, and then it won't really have posted, but I will think it has posted because it's been so many hours. So I try to do it mostly when I can make sure that I can monitor it rather than take a chance that something technically keeps it from posting. Technologically, I meant by technically. Bryce Harper framed for the Nationals. Ryan O'Hearn framed for the Kansas City Royals. A 300 insert for Warren Spahn and the Brewers. A Joey Votto artist proof for my Cincinnati Reds. Look at that. See, my Reds did get something. I'm complaining that they don't ever get anything, and at least they got an artist proof parallel. And actually, Jay Ellen got that 1 of 1 for the Reds. Last night, was that? I think it was. Out of Gypsy Queen. Jay Allen says he thinks the cats walk across the keyboard and stop the upload when I get that weird back-end error message. Well, you never know. Stranger things. But generally, they don't get too involved with the electronic equipment. They're not. I know there are cats who you hear about doing stuff like that, jumping on keyboards and, you know, knocking the handheld mouse around, the mobile mouse around, and that sort of thing. My cats have never been too interested in that. The only thing ours really care about is watching the printer print, and oddly enough, two of the three do like watching the printer print. That was Miguel Cabrera Marlins. There's a nice hit, numbered to 99 for the San Diego Padres with Urias. What was last night? You said something with, what was last night? Did it not post last night, the video? I thought that it did. Did it for real not post last night? I could have sworn I checked it and it did. Because I didn't it? Yeah, it did, didn't it? Oh, gosh. You said now that I've said that, they'll go wild on the computer. You're probably right. It's Pedro Martinez framed for Boston. Yeah, those are the kind of things you don't ever want to put out into the universe. You never know what's going to happen. I think we're about to have something really nice here to make the Braves happy, potentially. Okay, well, I thought it was going to be an autograph, I thought, from the back of the card. But it's just relics. But it's still nice. If you got the Braves, you got some Acuna relics coming your way. But when I first saw it, I thought it was autograph. Aaron Judge, Gallery of Stars. For the Yankees, Beltre and the Rangers. Molina. Gallery of Stars, Ken Griffey Jr. And there's that box. The Ken Griffey Jr. was the Mariners, by the way. I don't think I said that, but I think you guys can probably see the city names, but I don't know that for sure. Sometimes I've had people tell me it's harder some nights to read the city names than others. They do kind of have these buried down in the pattern a little bit. You know, the design pattern of the card probably makes it a little more challenging. Oh, the 1 of 1 was last night. Okay, good. Gosh, you had me worried there for a minute. I was like, oh my gosh. Did I not check that upload? I'm thinking, I thought I checked that upload. Yeah, you had me worried. Sometimes my days just blend into one big long day. depending on what might have happened on during the day. If there's not anything that really sets it apart, it just feels kind of like one long day sometimes. That was Ortiz for the Orioles. Cedric Mullins, also Baltimore Orioles. Oh, that's a nice relic on the right in particular. That's pretty cool, numbered to 99. Oh, hey, Jay Allen, while I'm thinking about it, do you remember, now this is by now been, I don't know, 10 days ago or so, but you know the last case that we broke of Donruss, regular Donruss, not Diamond Kings, but straight up Donruss, isn't that the one where we pulled the case hit in the first half of that case, not the second half of that case? Do you remember the whammy? Here's a nice little autograph hit. Francisco Lindor for the Indians on the 205 insert. So that's pretty cool. If you've got the Cleveland Indians, I like that hit for you. It's very nice. Gallery of Stars, Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. There's another Clayton Kershaw. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I probably should have had a 5-hour energy drink myself tonight, but didn't get it done. Roger Clemens, Red Sox framed. Okay, that's what I thought, that it was in the first half of the case. But I'm going to have to go back and watch the video anyway. But somebody in the second half, who was in break number 6, which was the second half of the case, sent me a message saying, where's their case hit? Where's their Javi Baez whammy? And I'm thinking, I'm like 99% sure that came out in break number 5, which is, they didn't have, you know, the Cubs in that break. They had them in break 6. So I'll have to go back and watch, of course, the recap to make 100% sure, but I was 99% sure that came out in the first half of the case, not the second half. So I'm not sure why this person was expecting it in the second half of the case in their particular break, but anyway, that is the message that I got, so I'll get to go back and watch a couple of breaks tomorrow, I guess. Get that sorted out. Glavine for the Braves. I mean, we discussed it, so I don't know if he just like heard us talking about it and didn't watch the break or something. Cleveland Indians framed Corey Kluber. Because I remember someone asked about it and we had some discussion about it, but I was pretty certain that we didn't pull it in that second half. Like, I was 99% sure. You know, sometimes I don't remember, but that one I did because we talked about it. Because someone asked that specifically in the break. That's Alex Bregman for the Astros. That was faced around the opposite way, so probably technically they would consider it a short print, maybe. Ichiro crowning moments insert. Of course, short prints in Diamond Kings, Panini's version of a short print, as you know, way different than what, you know, a Topps short print would be, for instance. So they are more plentiful, in other words. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't crazy. Of course, I know I can go back and watch the video, but the question came in just right before the break. So I was, you know, I tried to shoot the guy off a quick answer so they didn't think I was, you know, ignoring him or forgot about him or whatever the case may be. But I was pretty sure that was the case. So I'm not sure why he thinks that it came out in his part of the break. That's what's confusing to me. Unless he watched either he watched the wrong break, but surely he would know that. Because all you have to do is match up the date or look for your username on the spreadsheet. So I don't think it would be that. So I don't know. But anyway, I guess that'll be the next fun that I get to deal with, is getting that sorted out. This has just been one of those months, I tell you. I mean, it just one of those months where that is the kind of stuff that happens. Speaking of Javi Baez, Cubbies framed. Urias comes out again for the Padres. Padres are doing quite well. Goldschmidt framed for the Cardinals. Beltre, Texas Rangers. So we have got both of our hits already out for this box. They both came out fairly early on. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, is maybe he heard us discussing it, but I mean, if he heard that, he would have heard me say it came out in the first half of the case. So that's then why I'm confused about why he would think he would get it. So I don't know. Hopefully it's going to be easily resolved by just going back and watching the video, but sometimes people don't like to resolve things easily, so you kind of never know what it's going to be. There's an Acuna Gallery of Stars. Heir to the Throne, Javi Baez on one front, and Ryan Sandberg on the back. And there comes Verlander for the Tigers, framed. Stanton, crowning achievement, Marlins. A Juan Soto Gallery of Stars. Yeah, I would like to think common sense will prevail, because there's, you know, video that you can go back and refer to and literally see every single card that comes out. But you and I both know that at least 3 out of 10 times, it doesn't matter whether you can have, you know, it doesn't matter. You can show proof, you can do whatever, and it won't make any difference. So 7 out of 10 people will be reasonable, 3 out of 10 will not be. So the question is he one of the 7 or one of the 3? Echo, we don't, you know, it's like I probably don't get what I would call, quote unquote, a lot of difficult people. But what I would say is this: the ones that are tend to stand out in your mind because they just make things so difficult often, and because it often ends up costing money financially. So I think those kind of stand out in your mind, you know what I mean? But there's definitely a decent percentage of them. Like the guy who bid, and I blocked him long time ago. And he created another user account and started bidding again. But I didn't recognize that it was the same guy because several months had passed. And so then he came along and told me at some point that it was him again. But at that point, you know, what do? You can't, if you block them again, he's already bid several times by then you know you're going to get a big handful of negatives just for the reason that you blocked him. But the fact of the matter is, he never should have been allowed to bid anyway. But so I decided, all right, I'll just let it ride out and see how it goes. And, you know, maybe whatever he got blocked for before is better now. It's Tony Gwynn and the Padres. So then, of course, he pops up and leaves some kind of comments about, oh, he's another one that started on, oh, you know, if he has to listen to me one more second, you know, he has to have aspirin if he wants to watch the break. One of these kinds of guys. And I'm thinking, then why? Why are you bidding with me? Why do you keep bidding with me? If you just hate me and my breaks so much, why are you bidding with me? So eventually I do block him again because of that, because he leaves a negative. I mean, it's one thing if you want to say that and leave a neutral or something else, but he leaves it as a negative comment. And I'm like, why? Philadelphia Phillies, Reese Hoskins, there's your autograph. Woohoo! How about that, Jay Allen? So then, of course, at that point, I block him again under the new username. And I called eBay and I said, look, if I block this guy again, which he should have never been allowed to bid again anyway, but he has, and blah, blah, blah. I said, as soon as he tries to bid again, and he will try to bid again somewhere, he's going to go back and leave negative feedback for every single transaction that he has open right now. I guarantee you that that's what's going to happen. So they said, well, we'll make a note of it, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So then I have to, spend all this time calling eBay back on the phone. They got to go back through their notes, do all this stuff to, get it corrected. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. There's baby Vlad Guerrero Jr. for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, yeah. So, see, that's what I mean, Echo. Like, that kind of stuff you tend to remember because it takes up all kinds of time. You got to call eBay and get stuff dealt with, and then, you got to deal with the guy, and then the guy's complaining that you've blocked him, and I'm thinking, again, your whole attitude is that you can't stand my breaks because you don't like listening to me or whatever exactly it was. So why do you keep bidding with me? Those are the kind of people that you just go, what's your problem? Don't understand it. Toronto and Toronto on that one, but we're still going to put it up there in our little pile because it's still easier to keep them all together than not. Ted Williams framed for the Red Sox. Little Boston action. All right, so does anybody know the score of the Cincinnati Reds game? They're playing the Cardinals tonight. Game's probably over by now. Maybe, yeah, well, maybe not. I don't know. Could be in the high innings. But I say that, and then I think almost like I'm not sure if I want to know. Because I'm afraid. I'm afraid my Cincinnati Reds might be getting just drubbed. But I'm going to take a flyer. I'm going to take a chance and ask anyway if anyone knows what the score is. And another heirs to the throne, Forrest Whitley on the front, Nolan Ryan on the back. They're both Astros. Ryan Borucki. Now, this is just getting silly. That is the second Borucki and like the fourth or fifth hit for the Blue Jays, I think. That's numbered to 99. And listen, if you've got Toronto tonight, you've gotten your money's worth. Juan Soto on the front, Bryce Harper on the back. It's 5-1. Cincinnati's ahead? For real? 5-1? And Cincinnati's ahead? Oh, nice. I can't believe that. I'm like, am I reading that wrong? Although we have last few games. We have played a little better. So, that makes me happy. Thank you, Donovan. Milwaukee Brewers, Jersey Kings for Yelich. It's another man that's been having a good year so far at the plate. Cleveland Indians. Grover Alexander. Yelich framed for the Brewers. Shohei Gallery of the Stars. Yeah, well, I'm happy about that Cincinnati score. That's cool. Thanks, man, for filling me in on that one. Ken Griffey Jr. autograph insert, I meant. Satchel Paige, once again, former St. Louis Browns are the current Baltimore Orioles. So Satchel there headed to the Orioles. Christian Stewart and the Detroit Tigers. There's a Gallery of Stars Arenado for the Rockies. Beltre insert Dodgers, and a Kirby Puckett insert for the Twins. A crowning moment, Mookie Betts framed. Real Muto for the Marlins. That looks like it ought to be numbered, is it? Yeah, it is. It's numbered to 25. Gallery of Stars, Mr. Andrew Benintendi for the Boston Red Sox. Benny Baseball. Yeah, I don't know how much we have got coming exactly, precisely for Bowman Baseball, but I think it's probably, let's see, probably about 7 or 8 cases maybe of Bowman. I think there's, well, I don't know. I don't remember what the allocations are from one of the groups. Anywhere from probably 6 to 9, we should have anywhere from 6 to 9 cases, I think, of Bowman. I'm already super excited about it coming out. It's not even going to get here until Wednesday. But I'm like really hyped up about it already. Because we're not getting Flawless Football on Wednesday like we were originally supposed to. Of course, you know they've moved that date on Flawless Football how many times now? I don't know, at least 3 or 4. And now it's going to be Friday of next week for Flawless Football. So Bowman Baseball will be the only release coming out Wednesday. Oh, Jay Allen, I always have tons of Bowman. Because I love Bowman. Love, love, love it. You know that about me. So most years I have somewhere between 5 and 10 cases of Bowman. It always just depends on what they'll give me. I mean, I always ask for a lot. And sometimes they give me more than they do other years, but I always order a lot of it. And I tried to get a bunch of Bowman Sterling, which is coming back to hobby after having been retail in recent years. That is Christian Stewart with an autograph and a pair of little relics there. So I thought that would maybe be numbered, but I guess it isn't for the Detroit Tigers. So I also tried to order a lot of Bowman Sterling as it makes its return back to hobby. Not going to be retail this year. Or they may have a retail version, but it won't be a retail exclusive this year. That's what I'm trying to say. But I haven't seen my numbers from everybody yet. But it looks like it's going to be a little harder to get than maybe I anticipated. So I might not have as much Bowman Sterling as I will have of other Bowman, but it didn't come out yet for a while anyway. Another artist proof Joey Votto. We had one earlier. Got another one here on a crowning moment card. And Cleveland Indians, there's Larry Doby again with a framed autograph. A crowning moment for Randy Johnson as a Diamondback. You said Flawless Friday? Yeah, exactly. It's going to be Flawless Friday. Heirs to the Throne, Vlad Guerrero Jr. I don't remember how much Flawless I have coming. I can't remember. It's been a while back that I got those numbers. I need to go look at that, actually. Ozzie Albies framed for the Atlanta Braves. And that is another framed hit for the Indians. Joe Sewell. Dave Winfield. Oh, there's a blast from the past. Very cool. And as a Yankee on this card. And numbered to what? 25. With a piece of the baseball bat. That's pretty awesome. I never think of Dave Winfield, though, really as a Yankee too much, I guess. But I guess I should. But anyway. Dennis Santana. All right, we have 9 boxes down with 3 to go. I'm going to grab a little drink of water here, and then we'll be back rolling in a second. I don't know why. You know, I just always associate Dave Winfield as a Padre. You know, it's where he started out. Of course, he finished up his career with the Yankees. And honestly, he was probably close to evenly split the number of years Padres versus the number of years Yankees. But yet, when I hear the name Dave Winfield and when I picture Dave Winfield, I always think of him as a Padre. Drew Deasy Drew said Winfield killed the seagull as a Yankee. Jay Allen says, yeah, it was an unbelievable video. I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. I'll have to go look that up later, watch the video. I'm assuming hit it with a baseball, like when he was at bat, I'm assuming. Yeah, he just always, somehow, he's just always a Padre to me in my mind. But there's lots of guys like that, you know, that, just like if you're thinking about football, Peyton Manning played several years for the Broncos, but he will always be an Indianapolis Colt, first and foremost, when I think of him. I mean, sure, he finished up with the Broncos, but he started and played forever for the Colts. So there's just some guys like that I get them in my head one way and they tend to stick there. Valdez for the Astros, Lou Gehrig framed for the Yankees. Byron Buxton, Minnesota Twins. Twins are kind of quietly having a nice break, huh? What with the cut signature and Byron here. Got a little bit of a bad corner down there, I noted on lower right. Tiny little bit of, these are the ones we just looked at, right? Tiny little bit of of white showing through. A little chipping on that lower corner. Crowning moment, Joey Votto, Cincinnati Reds, a Yelich Gallery of Stars. Freddie Freeman, Atlanta Braves, Gallery of Stars, Ichiro. Okay, we have got Arenado and Brooks Robinson. George, if we have, I don't think we have any Milwaukee Braves in here, as in like Hank Aaron, you mean? I don't think I've seen Hank Aaron in this set, but yeah, if we hit the Milwaukee Braves, yes, they would go to the Atlanta Braves because that is the current Atlanta Braves. There is one Boston Braves guy in here. What is that guy's name? We'll probably see him as he goes through. He's a base card in here. There is one, shoot, what is that guy's name? There is a Boston Braves guy. And yes, the Boston Brave guy would also go, again, cards always stay with their franchises. So the Boston Braves guy would go to the Atlanta Braves because that's the franchise history, but I just can't remember what his name is. If we see him, I'll point him out to you. Laureano for the Oakland A's. That is numbered to 99. Dual relics. You'd think I could remember his stupid name. I just sorted some of this morning. Matsui for the Yankees. But I can't remember his name. Now I'm kind of looking for him. I'm going a little slower because I'm trying to find him. It's a kind of an unusual name. Satchel Paige, St. Louis Browns. That's not the St. Louis Cardinals, which, of course, current Baltimore Orioles. Artist proof. No, Warren Spahn's not who I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about, God, I can't remember the guy's name. Cannot remember the guy's name. Well, if we see him, I'll point him out to you. He's not like a Hank Aaron, Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth kind of well-known guy. But I will recognize him if I see him in here. Hopefully we'll see him again before we, out of these last couple of boxes. He's, in worst case scenario, I probably can look it up on the checklist if I can't remember it. Urias Padres relic, dual relics actually. There is Matsui again for the Yankees. I'm going kind of slower because I'm looking for that guy whose name I can't remember. We talked about him last in the last break we did of this. I pointed him out, and I don't know why I can't think of it tonight. Drew Deasy, Drew, you have a Votto 2019 Topps Acetate 4 of 10. Oh, you're going to put it up on eBay? Cool, man. Very cool. I love Joey Votto. Yeah, he's a bright spot for my Reds. Stan Musial, artist proof. Although, honestly, I feel like they've kind of wasted a lot of his prime years by not having a really good supporting cast around him. I feel like, you know, we've wasted a lot of his prime years, but well, what are you going to do? Water under the bridge, right? Hank Greenberg, Tigers, framed. What about Tukey? What are you saying about Tukey, Jay Allen? Yeah, the acetate stuff was awesome. I like when they do the acetates. I mean, Topps does those here and there. They did them in Clearly Authentic. Those are all acetate, weren't they? Best I recall. Christian Stewart, Detroit Tigers. And yeah, I like the acetate cards. They're always fun. Anything that's a little different from the everyday norm is kind of cool in my book. Justice Sheffield. Justice Sheffield is a Mariner. And you have an autograph and dual relic there. Oh, did I misspeak on one earlier? Well, if I did, I apologize, George, on, some of these base cards that go by. Maybe if I called one out incorrectly, I apologize for that. Every once in a while, guys, I might call one out incorrectly. Oakland A's, Jose Ramirez. Going through we go through these at a pretty good little clip, and it's a lot of franchise history to have stored in your brain alongside watching chat and watching the cards go by and keeping everything flowing. So every once in a while I might call one out incorrectly. I apologize if I called the wrong team, but I'm sure when I sort it, it's going to go to the right place. We are looking at last box mojo time right now, hoping to find the big hit. Somewhere over the rainbow is maybe what? We've already hit a cut signature, but what? We could still hit a 1 of 1. Another big name autograph. You never know. Jay Allen, I don't think you missed any huge hits. I mean, we had Justice Sheffield and I don't remember who else. But of course, we're gonna be recapping it here shortly, as you know. So we'll catch you back up to speed. Real Muto for the Marlins, a gallery of stars, Mike Trout. Chris Bryant for the Cubbies. There's Eloy and the Big Hurt for the White Sox. Corey Kluber, Indians. Angels, have the Angels had a big hit? No, Kirk, we have not had any. I'm assuming you, by big hit, you mean autograph or relic or 1 of 1, right? Or cut signature or something. Donovan, you think there's going to be a Juan Soto hit in here? Well, we'll give that a shot. That's a gallery of stars, Aaron Nola. A crowning moment for the Boston Red Sox with Pedro Martinez. Catfish Hunter. Huh. Who would have seen that coming? Catfish Hunter for the Oakland A's. That one is numbered to 49. I don't know where that guy... That is bugging me that I can't think of that guy's name. There's one guy in here that was a Boston Brave that goes to the Atlanta Braves. Just the one. And I cannot think of his name. Victor for the Nats. So you're right that it was a national. How about that? But it wasn't exactly the national you predicted. It's not Juan Soto, but you got Victor. So That's a nice hit as well. Autograph and relic. And that would be our last one out of here. A Mookie Betts portrait and a Bryce Wilson framed for the Braves. And that's Jose Reyes that went by on an insert. Shohei Ohtani and Ichiro. Beltre insert for the Dodgers. All right. That is that. Hang on 1 second, though. All right, well, I guess I don't have it. I thought I had the checklist up in there where I could run in there and scan real quick and find that guy's name because it's bugging me, but I don't have it up, so I can't. So never mind. All right, we are going to recap all of our fun stuff here. But before we recap all of our fun stuff here, we've got these heirs to the throne to sort out. So some of these, we're going to have Eddie Stanky, that's it. Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy typed it in while I was going in there thinking I had the checklist still pulled up and I didn't. Yes, that's exactly who it is. That was bugging me. Thank you. Thank you so much for how it's been bugging me all night. So we have the Mariners on one side, the Angels on the other. This one I think is both White Sox, so we don't need to worry about this. That is A's and Rangers, so we do need to keep track of it. That's Blue Jays both sides, all good. This is Rockies and Orioles. We'll take a look at it. Both Blue Jays. We already know that's, well, they're the same, but I guess I should show you the back so that you know it's the same. Juan Soto and Bryce Harper, both Nationals. Those are both Astros. Those were both Blue Jays. There's another Matt Chapman combo. Those both Cubs. We have both our Tampa Bay Rays. Both Red Sox. That is Yankees and Angels. Those are both Yankees. And there's a duplicate. Both White Sox, there's both Tampa Bay Rays, and both, oops, nope, not both Blue Jays, because Montreal Expos are the Washington Nationals, and that's the Blue Jays right there. Okay, so there's a reason, of course, that we just did that little exercise, and that's because some of these are going to end up having to go to random, but not all of them. So, for instance, this one, these are two identical cards. I will simply send one to the Mariners, and I will send the other one to the Angels. So each team will get one of those. We've got two duplicates. Actually, we've got three of the same card, but in this case, I'm going to send one to the A's, one to the Rangers. The third one, the odd lot one, will stay in random. We've only got one each of all of the remaining cards up there. So here's what that means to you. We're going to head over here to random.org, and I'm going to type in front and back. This is the front of the card. This is the back of the card. You know it's the back because it's got the Panini logo and all the, copyright info on it. And because we have fewer than 10 items in our list, I will be hitting random 3 different times. The first 2 times do not count. It is the third and final random that makes the decision on this. All right, so you can ignore the first one, ignore the second one, and here comes our third and final. There's 3 times, our date and time stamp, and it's going to the team on the back of the card. So that means this third one, now remember, each team already got one, but there were 3 of this card. So the third, the odd lot one, goes to the Rangers. This card is going to go to the Orioles. This one is headed to the Yankees. And this one is headed to the Nationals, because once again, former Expos, current Nationals. Then we have this little handsome fellow was numbered to 25. It's a Gallery of Stars Benintendi for the Red Sox. Here come the rest of our hits. And it is Catfish Hunter, numbered to 49 for the Oakland A's. Justice Sheffield for the Mariners. Urias and the Padres. Laureano to 99, Oakland A's. Byron Buxton for the Twins. Dave Winfield, that is numbered to 25 for the Yankees. The Detroit Tigers with Stuart Yelich for the Brewers. Then you have Barucki for the Toronto Blue Jays. Vlad Guerrero Jr. for the Blue Jays. Victor comes out for the Nationals. Reese makes an appearance for the Phillies to keep Jay Allen's streak alive. The Rangers with Beltre. There's Urias and the Padres. The Indians, I had forgotten we hit that with the little Francisco Lindor. Is a quite nice hit. Cedric Mullins, Baltimore Orioles. Acuna for the Braves. That is Urias for the Padres again. This is a Diamond Deco Jose Ramirez for the Indians. Sean Reed Foley, Toronto Blue Jays. Ryan Barucki, also Toronto Blue Jays. Our cut signature, that's so nice. That is the Minnesota Twins. Harmon Killebrew, you've got a piece of the bat and then the cut signature. Awesome little hit. A Rhys Hoskins pinstripe relic headed to the Phillies. And we started it off tonight, numbered to 25 with Reese McGuire for the Blue Jays. Echo, you asked me a question about 2019 Bowman. You said they have Kalinick as the Mets. They must have printed it early. Well, yeah, they do print this stuff early, but on top of that, there is always the possibility that he's going to be on there in both teams. And if it happens that way, it would be the autographs would probably fall to the Mets because they print the autograph cards typically earlier, often, than the base cards. And then if somebody gets traded in the interim, they will go ahead and print base cards of them with the new team, the Mariners. So my guess is I can't guarantee you that's what's going to happen, but it is possibility that you'll have base cards in there as Mariners for Kalinick and hits in there as Mets. We've definitely had that happen in past years where somebody's been traded. I can't think. If somebody went Red Sox to White Sox at the moment, I'm blanking on the name. Why am I having such trouble with names tonight? I don't know. Anyway, we had that problem with him for a couple of sets last year with Topps where he would have his autograph hits with the Red Sox, the former team, but his base cards were the White Sox, and it took a couple of different products before it got caught up. So eventually they do get them caught up, but they definitely do print stuff in advance. And worse yet, they get it signed way in advance on even farther in advance. So oftentimes with Topps, you'll find your base cards catch up with trades well before your hits do, which kind of blows, but nonetheless, that's how it shakes out. So we are taking one more look here at a little spreadsheet 411 Wednesday. That's when I think it's going to head out the door to you. If I can get it out faster, I will. If something goes haywire during the week, it could be a day later, but I expect it to be Wednesday. If anybody got skunked in either break, didn't hit anything, not a base card, not one single thing, you are still going to get a package in the mail with consolation card or cards. And sometimes people do have a little better luck with those, so keep that in mind. Breaks that are coming up. This is the stuff that's listed on eBay that we're going to be breaking over the next few nights. So tomorrow night is a half case of Topps Inception Baseball. It is 8 boxes of that. We're going to do 2 cases of Revolution Basketball Chinese New Year edition. Those are 8-box cases. It is a different configuration than regular Revolution. Please make sure you look at all the info. All the product info is provided, of course, at the bottom of the description as a cut and paste from the manufacturer. On Monday night, we're going to open Diamond Kings Baseball again. On Tuesday night, we will open Leaf Metal Draft Football. On Wednesday night, we're going to start early, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. We'll do a 3-box inner case of Onyx Preferred Players autographed baseballs and a half case of our new release that day, Bowman Baseball. Thursday, we'll open a full case of Honors Football, and we'll open a 10-box half case of Prism Fast Break Basketball, and that's boxes from a shared case. So they're loose boxes. I got half the case. Somebody else took the other half of the case, and that's how that's going to roll. All right, I guess that has got it covered for tonight. So thanks, everyone, once again for being here, spending part of your weekend with me. And we'll be back at it tomorrow night. So, hey, stop by and see me anytime. I'm always glad to have the company. Thanks a lot. Take care. We'll catch you the next time. Bye now.